Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic day wherever we are around the world. Hopefully, everyone's good. Hopefully, everyone's well. And welcome back to a match preview show. It has been a while. Look, don't get me wrong, international footy isn't the greatest, let's be perfectly honest, when we talk around Liverpool Football Club, but still, Liverpool are back, of course, fully in training, but we are now back for Premier League action, and of course, the Reds do take hold against Burnley on Sunday afternoon. Of course, it is obviously Liverpool, Burnley, and then the Manchester Derby on Sunday, but let me know how all of you are down in the comments. We'll take a look as well at the game, have a conversation around Arne Slot and, of course, press conference from today. And again, I want to know your guys' thoughts down in the comments on, who you guys think is going to start, because I think it's a bit up for debate at the moment, isn't it? Certainly I think in the midfield of who's going to play and who's going to feature. But I think as of things right now, it'll also be interesting because I think as of right now, probably, look, our best midfield three is probably Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, and Florian Wirtz. But again, obviously with the internationals, again, you'd probably think that with Alexis McAllister obviously coming back a bit late as well from international duty, maybe Liverpool might allow a bit of time to obviously risk in that. But look, at the end of the day, I think Liverpool will, in my opinion, will at least give Maka time, because I think obviously with Liverpool having games, Atletico Madrid, Everton as well, we're going to need them probably in these games a lot more than Burnley away. I think Burnley, you can sacrifice the midfield a little bit to be a bit more technical to break them down, but of course, having obviously Maka on the bench will be a great thing to have as well. But like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. And bugger off, Luke, as well. I can see you in the group chat. You absolute rat. Yeah, F off. What else we have? But yeah, look, at the end of the day, obviously, of course, Arne Slot as well, also speaking to Alexander Isak, which we will get into a bit later on anyway. But like we said, we're going to kickstart the show taking a look at the fixture then. Of course, it is Liverpool-Burnley, 2 p.m. Kickoff, as you guys can see on the injury list already. Obviously, Burnley having a few injuries themselves, of course. And for Liverpool, the main one is, of course, Curtis Jones. Arne Slot did confirm, didn't he, today, that Curtis Jones is out for the Burnley game. Hasn't confirmed whether or not it is a long-term injury, but he did say he did pick up an injury against Arsenal, which has kept him out the international break and, of course, the game against Burnley. But I think just judging from his body language and judging from just the overall sense of things, I don't think it's a long-term injury. But I do think it's necessary that the fact that, in my opinion, again, I'd rather, Curtis Jones miss this game, and of course we'll be fine for the next, 4, 5, 6, 7 games as well. But I think it did really put into question mark of who's going to start on the weekend, because I think a lot of people did have Dom at right back and was going to have Curtis Jones obviously alongside Ryan Gravenberch, because, like we mentioned earlier, about Alexis McAllister just coming back from international duty as well. So, look, at the end of the day, I think Liverpool will be fine without Curtis Jones in this game, but hopefully it's not a long-term serious problem for Curtis Jones. But again, Jeremy Frimpong should be back, was in training all week as well. You guys would have seen the photos and everything around Alexander Isak and Jeremy Frimpong also being part of the videos. But again, obviously, the question marks is probably at right back as well to who would start this game. I think, of course, Conor Bradley having a couple of weeks to obviously bed himself back in because of his injury, also having Dominic Szoboszlai play there for now, and of course him going on to internationals as well. Of course, match fitness is the main thing, but I think Arne Slot, I think it's a real conversation for him, because I don't think anyone right now can say significantly who is Liverpool's number one right back. And of course the conversation is around Conor Bradley and Jeremy Frimpong, but also, do you shove Dom in the conversation? Because when we do have our full fit midfields in terms of McAllister, Gravenberch and Wirtz, how do you fit Dominic Szoboszlai in that? And I think with the midfield, of course, there's a question mark of current dominant right back, and so far this season he's done really good there. Played really good against Newcastle, really good against Arsenal as well. So, look, in my opinion, he can 100% do a job at right back as well. But like I said, Burnley do have injuries themselves, but you actually look at the start from both teams this season. Of course, Liverpool, again, obviously 3 wins out of 3. Bournemouth, Newcastle, and Arsenal, very, very tough games. But I think, fair play to Burnley. Look, I know obviously opening day, 3-0 loss to Spurs, getting a win over Sunderland, which I think, of course, they were on the bounce when they after beating West Ham. And then just narrowly losing out to Manchester United. Now, we know Man United are, Man United, they were terrible last season. I don't think they've improved much this season, but for them just to narrowly lose to them after, again, fighting back to get it back to 2-2, again, I think Scott Parker would have been happy with the performance, not with the results, of course. But look, at the end of the day, I think Liverpool will dominate Burnley in this game. Personally, I think, of course, many people would say the same. But then the question marks are, who does start for Liverpool? Up top, of course, there's a conversation around Isak, Ekitike, and all sorts. But I think for Burnley, again, could they? Well, I think everybody expects them to be compact and obviously have 5 at the back against Liverpool and try and counter attack, which, look, it is the recipe against Liverpool so far this season. Bournemouth did it perfectly well, of course, in their opening fixture with 10 men. Newcastle, again, Liverpool, in my opinion, allowed Newcastle to get back in that game when we should have really ended it, or at least not conceded those 2 goals with 10 men, or with a man up, sorry, and of course, being 2-0 up. But again, Arsenal, look, first half, don't think Liverpool played really good. Second half, I thought we played really, really good, and I think we were the better team towards the end of the game. But the fact now that you look at Liverpool's fixtures coming up, again, Burnley now this weekend, Everton away Everton at home, next weekend as well. So the games are coming thick and fast for Liverpool as well. Michael Oliver, of course, is the referee for Liverpool, as you guys can see below, which, again, could either be a good thing or a bad thing as well, which, look, I hope that it is a good thing for Liverpool. And we don't have referees being absolute dickheads again this week. Anyway, but, of course, like I did mention at the start of the show, there is the conversations at the present moment in time about who starts for Liverpool up top, and will it be Alexander Isak? Now, Arne Slot did say in his press conference, didn't he, today, that we should be patient around Alexander Isak because of his lack of minutes in pre-season. For Newcastle, of course, obviously he didn't play or didn't feature at all for Newcastle in their pre-season game, or any of their pre-season game. Of course, he was training alone and wasn't in any team training throughout the course of the summer. So, again, obviously this international break is the first time that he's had time to train with teammates and again, and have at least some minutes for Sweden. Of course, I think they lost 2-0, didn't they, in that second game of the international break. So, with that being said, though, he looks very, very sharp for a man that's not really trained over the last couple of weeks. But do I expect him to start personally? No. I don't think he'll start over Ekitike for now. Of course, that will hopefully change, or at least Arne Slot will change his thought process over the next couple of weeks. He said it perfectly, didn't he, that in his opinion, Liverpool, we need to be patient with him because, like I mentioned, he's not got any minutes. But also, we've got very tough games coming up, like Atletico, Everton, obviously the Carabao Cup as well with Southampton and Anfield. So there is plenty of opportunities that he'll start his first game. Personally, I think he will start next week in the derby unless something happens where he'll have to, of course, start for the Champions League, potentially for Hugo Ekitike. But I think for me right now, personally, the choice would be Hugo Ekitike for now. But no, I've not got a wig. It's not a wig. It's my real hair. It's not a wig. For God's sake, go away, hero. As I'll hopefully do well, mate. Anyway, but look, for me, it'll be Hugo on Sunday. I don't think it'll be Isak for now. Like I said, I think it will be Hugo Ekitike, which again, look, people shouldn't be disappointed by that. Hugo Ekitike has had a really good start to the season, and of course now with all the the worries of him going to AFCON is now gone. Of course, anyone who doesn't know what I'm going on about. I think was it Congo, or again, I don't know 100% the nation, but of course there was talks that he could potentially leave France for a team for AFCON, of course. But look, he is 100% going to do that now. But look, at the end of the day, what on earth are you chatting, Luke? You absolute melon. I don't even know what the fuck you're chatting, lads. I'm not honest to God. But yeah, no, I think it will be Hugo, in my opinion. But look, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. But I'm just trying to quickly see if there is anything, if there is any other news from Arne Slot's press conference, because I did have notes on it. Because mainly it was just a 15-minute quickly, like, the majority of it, they spoke about transfers, which again is, I think, Arne Slot gets annoyed by them. Obviously, he talked about Mark Gay, he talked about, I think in many, it was Cameroon. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Seth. But yeah, no, I think for Arne Slot, he's very open, isn't he? He spoke about Mark Gay. He's not going to turn around and go, oh, look, we're not going to talk about Mark Gay because, look, Liverpool wanted to get him. 100% Liverpool wanted to get him. But at the end of the day, personally, I think Liverpool will go back for him in January. I don't think we wait until he's a free, personally, but look, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that in the future. But here it says, who's the right back? Possibly Connor Bradley. I think there's real debate at the minute, isn't it, of who's gonna start in that position. Of course, it could be Jeremy Frimpong. I think it's just, again, a debate at the minute who's going to play there. It could even be Dom, depending on the midfield as well. But, of course, let me know your guys' thoughts, because for me, I think it will be Conor Bradley. I think it'll be Dom in the 8 alongside Ryan Gravenberch with Florian Wirtz in the 10. And then I think pretty much the rest of the team writes itself. For being honest, I think it'd be Mo up top. Well, Mo on the right, Hugo down the centre, Cody on the left, obviously Milos Kerkez at left back as well, Van Dijk, Kanate, Ali. I don't foresee any change in that sense, but at the moment, of course, the main problem for Liverpool is counter-attacks, and does that team fill you with confidence that we won't get counter-attacked? Yeah, pretty much, because I think, again, Liverpool are capable enough to getting a clean sheet against Burnley, but again, Liverpool's track record so far this season hasn't been great, even though we've just come off a clean sheet against Arsenal as well. But here it says Dom has to be in the 11. Yeah, I would agree, but that's the question: where do you get him in? Because as of things right now, Hero, you might be different to me, but the best Liverpool midfield, Dom's not in it. Possibly, I think Maka, Grav, and Wirtz is the midfield, I think, at the moment. But where do you get him in? And that's it is kind of like the Valverde problem, isn't it, at Madrid? And it's why I think they shoved him at right back for a very long time. But yeah, I for this game at least, I think he'll play as an 8. But again, even against Atletico Madrid, I could 100% see Dominic Szoboszlai at right back for Liverpool, for sure as well. But Seth says Bradley is the likely choice because Maka is not 100% fit and Jones is injured. Szoboszlai to play double pivot with Gravenberch. Yeah, that's where I think he'll be. I 100% agree. I don't think he'll be anything different than that, to be honest. I think if Curtis Jones was fit and available, there might have been question marks for it. But yeah, no, I would 100% agree. I think it will be obviously Dom and Grav next to each other in the double pivot. But again, we will have to wait and see what happens. But the good news is as well, Liverpool will be playing in this kit as well. Of course, the new third kit. Obviously, I think everybody's bought it by now. If not, is going to buy it at the moment. But look, I think for me, it's one of the best kits out there for Liverpool. Liverpool have had a very long time. I think in terms of just the style and that, and of course, hopefully, Sunday night will be obviously kickstart that kit off in style by beating Burnley as well. For me, I think it'll be 3-0 Liverpool. And I was on a Burnley channel a couple of nights ago, and I think, you know, I said that obviously Burnley's biggest positive is potentially counterattacks for against us, but I think Liverpool will dominate. I think, look, the ideal situation is Liverpool will get the job done within 60, 65 minutes and then can rotate throughout the game. But obviously, again, you can't treat anyone lightly in the Premier League. Otherwise, you get, you know, caught and end up losing or drawing, and that's what Liverpool don't want to happen. Of course, Liverpool want to go 4 for 4 so far in the Premier League. Look, for me, I think goal scoring wise, I think it'll be a double for Mo, and I think I think Isak will come on and score. I think he'll get a goal, so hopefully, you know, we'll be talking very positively on Sunday anyway. But I think as of things right now, again, it could be anyone in terms of, you know, goal scorers. But I think Liverpool will try and completely control the game from minute one, similar to how we did, you know, what. If anyone remembers the game a couple of years ago, when Jurgen's first full season, and we went to Burnley, completely controlled the game, we lost 2-0. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But look, I think, of course, it's the first time Scott Parker and Arne Slot will face each other. I think, you know, I could be wrong with that, but I think so. I think it will be anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 Liverpool. I think it'll be a, you know, controlled game for us, in my opinion. Anyway, but look, let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below as well. Let me know goal scorers as well. Like I said, I think it'll be a double for Mo and Isak to come off the bench to score for Liverpool. But I know plenty of people will say 4-5-6-0 as well. So again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Sorry, it's a short match preview for tonight. There might be a video on the channel tomorrow, but next week we will be fully back to normal. Again, it'll be probably pretty much videos every single day from now on, of course, because like at the end of the day, international breaks are not really great. We could talk about stuff, but yeah, normally people don't really tune in for it. But like, we'll have to see what happens. And of course, I know I've had a couple of people messaging me talking about the Canate situation. Like, we might do a video on it, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to Madrid. And look, I think we're past caring. You know, if Canate wants to leave and go to Real Madrid, then he's off. You know, he's allowed to do it. We'll just get Mark Gahey to replace him in the summer, or if not in January, at least anyway. But look, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your days anyway. Good rest of your day. Of course, hopefully I'll see you guys for the post-match on Sunday. Like I said, maybe tomorrow there might be a video for maybe we might talk about the Canate situation or other bits and pieces as well. So again, keep your eyes peeled for the channel. Anyway, but until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys a bit later on. Ta-ra.